With 160 miles of motorway to patrol, 8 major towns, and a population of over 1 million, Cheshire police cars clock up an astonishing 12 million miles a year. So it's no wonder they get into a few scrapes. And keeping this fleet of cars, riot vans, boats and bikes on the road
That's as close as you get into a siren on a bicycle.
is the job of the Vehicle Maintenance Unit. If Cheshire Police need to get a beat car back on the road, they'll repair it.
It's like the emergency services version of a Formula One pit stop list.
If they need a new riot van, they'll design it. And if they want something that doesn't exist yet, they'll invent it.
I need to turn that into that.
If Cheshire Police were James Bond, these guys are Cube.
Would you want to be sat that close with an ordinary window?
Welcome to Cop Car Workshop. John Hussey lives and breathes cop cars and is the genius in charge of the Vehicle Maintenance Unit.
Oh, look at this bad boy. Cars, vans, trucks, motorbikes, boats. It comes here, we sort it, we fix it, out it goes.
After almost 40 years, he's finally lifting the lid on what it takes to stop the wheels falling off frontline policing.
You're taking your bloody time, Darren, aren't you? What's wrong with you? What are you mucking about at?
People generally don't know what we're doing here. These vehicles don't come out of a lucky bag, they don't come out of a cracker. There's lots and lots of thought, ingenuity and design that's gone into them.
Here we go, here's another one.
Sometimes we have a problem with the nut behind the steering wheel, but it's our job to tighten it.
His team of mechanics, designers and office staff keep Cheshire Police fleet of almost 1,000 vehicles on the road.
You know where it's from? No? Knackersfield.
In the 37 years that I've had here, I think I've seen it all.
What on earth?
Every week, that changes. I don't expect to see one of our old cars in Prague. It's like the tide coming in. You can't stop it.
Every time I give you the job,
You've just got to actually work with it.
What he's done to it. Oh, is that one completely that one?
We've had a high accident rate this year.
130 miles an hour, throwing bricks at me.
If you're a bad guy and you're coming to our place, we're out looking for you. We're going to get you. We're going to bring you in. Along the way, that can mean a few bumps or scrapes.
Better kick your jetlock out.
Yeah. Welcome to Cheshire Police, otherwise known as Demolition Derby.
But not all their time is spent fixing cars damaged in riots and high-speed chases.
Mark, would you come and have a look at this car for me, please?
Finance assistant Roz has been called away from her warm desk to investigate a car that's been brought in. She's roped in vehicle technician Mark Sumnall to help.
A few feathers.
I was just in the reception area and a police officer's come in and said that they've hit a bird as they were travelling and the bird has obviously got stuck in the grill. They tried to pull it out, but they thought they might cause more damage. It's a little sad. I like birds.
My feathered friend stuck inside there. I tell you what, to get that through that little gap, bloody hell.
And while this goose might be cooked, Roz is determined it gets a proper send-off.
I'm trying to find a box to put the little bird in when he comes out. I was going to give it a little bit of a burial.
That's not a pheasant.
Aww.
That's bird of prey.
I can't put it in the bin. It's cruel.
It's dead!
Still cruel.
I'll sort it, don't worry.
Thank you.
While this bird awaits its burial, there's more sombre news. This time, about part of John's fleet. After 160,000 miles, it's time to hang up its blue lights, hand in its sirens. No one last job for this riot van. The DA wants its ass and those pen pushers down at... Oh, sorry. Where was I?
Looks a bit ropey, doesn't it? It's going to be stripped of the useful equipment that's on it and sent to the scrapyard. Does give us a great opportunity, though, to test it out.
Because John isn't allowed to sell her, he's got a chance to see how this decommissioned van, loaded with features he implemented, handles a stress test. By which he really means a damn good kicking. All in the name of research, of course.
Taking a lot of hits. Look at the breakage on the windscreen, but the glass hasn't come through. The guard, yes, it's heavily damaged. But you know, we're preserving lives in here. Would you want to be sat that close with an open window?
Next up, how do the pierce-proof sides stand up to Bob's whacking great spike?
My God, look at... Oh, great.
He's been wanting to do that for years.
The spike itself broke the polycarbonate away from the side, but actually only was a flap that came into the vehicle. But that's as tough as you get. We couldn't really give it much more serious abuse than that.
In 2016, there were more than 2 million assaults against the police across England and Wales, and over 300,000 involving deadly weapons. So John's designs are all about protecting his officers.
And so what we're going to look at now is the resistance of the chute bolts on the doors. So you couldn't normally pull the doors open. So he's trying to pull the door open. Let's try it with a crowbar in there and see what happens then. Still holding now. That's a very, very large extreme. And you know what? He's not in. He's not in. He's still not in. That would alert us to make a getaway at this point.
I'd have taken off ages ago.
So what was that? About 25, 30 seconds?
When all else fails, these vehicles are designed to ensure officers can get to safety. Time to see how it does without any air in its tyres.
We're just giving it a proper puncture. If this was a normal vehicle without run flat bands in it, we wouldn't get very far.
The old van has survived a huge onslaught, but has never been crashed. John's driving could be the final nail in the coffin.
I've got no mirrors!
Having beaten the living daylights out of the riot van, the team's attention turns back to more important matters, the recently deceased bird.
Sit at home now, Steve.
I want it for me too.
Eat it if I was at home.
You're all vulgar.
Eh? Well, it's all right, fresh, isn't it? Bit of roadkill, did nobody any harm.
Can you identify the deceased bird?
It's a bird.
It's not a normal bird, that, is it?
It's rare and endangered.
He looks dead. What?
Sparrowhawk to me.
What?
Sparrowhawk.
A sparrowhawk.
Don't worry, Bill Oddie. Your job's in no danger.
Bird about birds.
Yeah.
To identify him.
Partridge. There you go.
Mystery finally solved, there's just one thing left to do. No, Dave, it's not to fire up the barbecue.
Be gentle with him. Rattle it.
You can always trust Mark. He's known to his colleagues as a gentle soul who never hesitates to help. He's always willing to go that extra mile no matter... Oh, Mark! And for their next trick, John's team is going to turn an ordinary van into a riot vehicle, sort of the opposite of going undercover. And to do it, he's going to get knee-deep in a riot.
That was a block that just whistled past my head, by the way. Luckily enough, I've looked round it and it's not got my name on it.
Josh Widdicombe and James Acaster are putting comedians on the spot.
How will our guests fare when faced with bizarre scenarios made up purely for the sake of entertainment? How much to wear a puppet of yourself for a year?
I can't believe you did the eyes.
I can honestly say there is no other show on TV where that question's ever been asked. You've been hired to write a brand new musical based on the songs of S Club 7. Are you a fan of musicals?
What a fan of musicals. I've seen Cats 4 times.
No.
We're preparing you in case this happens.
It's like
Rocky training. Great.
I'm gonna make the play! Hypothetical. Every Wednesday at 10 on Day.
Cheshire Police Fleet Manager John Hussey
That bloody skulking off because I'm coming.
is looking to spend over £500,000 replacing his force's riot vans. Christmas came early for John's team when he got them to beat up a decommissioned riot van. All in the name of research. And now he's going over to see how a riot unfolds in real time at the police training unit. He's hoping to see if there's any other modifications he can make to the new van to deal with 21st century policing.
Over to the Tactical Training Centre now to actually see the PSU training that they're doing. That's the Police Support Unit, where they were doing riot control and crowd management. Everything that the police do, I'm involved one way or the other by supplying fleet to it. The best that I can do is understand what their tasks are so we get the vehicles right. This is one of our protected personnel carriers, a 5.3-tonne Mercedes Sprinter. Puncture-proof sides, puncture-proof tyres, a fire retardant system. You can see it's quite evident that there's protective measures all over the vehicle, and that just shows you the level of work that's actually gone into them.
The training lasts for 2 days, providing tons of feedback on the use these vans are put to.
We've gone to marches where people have actually jumped onto the vans, bricks might be thrown at them, other items might be thrown at them, so it can be a little bit hairy sometimes.
From the exterior protection to an interior capable of handling 9 battle-ready cops, everything has to be designed to purpose.
You've seen the types of drills and how strenuous and tiring it can be, and that could be post 12, 13, 14 hours sat in a van. If the van is uncomfortable, then it may impact on how they perform when they get out of the van.
I doubt you're getting heated seats, mate. Inside the training centre, the riot officers are about to face an angry mob, otherwise known as criminology students on a jolly. And John is feeling understandably protective of his babies.
I don't want any blocks being thrown at the vehicles. If someone hits one of my vans, I'll be taking it personal. Really hard. You wouldn't want this hitting your face. You wouldn't want it hitting you anywhere.
It might be a training exercise, but they're not mucking about.
Well, it's great to see this. I mean, this is the police in action. That was a block that just whistled past my head, by the way. Luckily enough, I've looked round it and it's not got my name on it.
For John, who's on the verge of ordering 10 new riot vans for this rabble, today's exercise has been invaluable.
It's really important that I get a good view of what happens operationally. That's how best I can design the vehicle around their requirements. Having said that, can we design some headaches out?
Speaking of headaches...
We dropped the keys to one of our vehicles. Once the key was dropped to the floor, the battery rolled out of it and we can't find it. So we're aimlessly looking around this huge building to try and find the key.
Losing the key in a massive warehouse, that's not a headache John can design out. This is the bit you don't see on CSI. With no sign of the battery anywhere, the police borrow one from someone else and everyone can go home. Perhaps John could design a bit of string for the van keys to go on.
Can we get rid of you now, guys? Come on.
Back at the vehicle maintenance unit, John's putting the finishing touches to his design spec for the new van. But with almost 1,000 police vehicles out on the road, accidents are inevitable. All the same, John's never happy to see them.
Oh, God. Jumping heck. Here we go, here's another one. Somebody's got a mission on at the moment to actually shorten the fleet, and maybe they think that they're going to save money by doing it. They say, I know, let's hit a tree. It certainly looks like it's hit something blunt, i.e. another vehicle. So, yeah, is it going to live? Is it going to die? Don't know at this stage till we look further.
First man to get a proper look at it is service engineer Pete Shepley, who's been with the team for 42 years.
I want to catch a bus. It is a long way away.
Beat cars have an average lifespan of just 4 years. But even before he's checked its age, Pete's made his mind up.
It's a mess, that is. As you can see, it's had a major frontal impact. Most of the front end is hanging away from it. It's 90% a vehicle write-off. If it's cheaper, John may go down the road of having this car repaired. If it was mine, I'd be wanting to start from scratch with a new vehicle.
The decision to scrap or repair will be based on several factors, one of which is just how old the car is.
Morning, Joe.
Deputy Dave is straight on the case.
This particular car, it's been on the road for just a month, and it's probably got less than 1,000 miles on it. It would be nice if it could be one that's got 2 weeks left of its normal life.
Converting these cars takes 6 months of planning, £4,000 in build costs, and 30 man-hours. So losing one after just a month on the road would be a terrible waste. But in order to assess the damage, just like you or I, Cheshire Police have to call in the loss adjusters.
Hi, it's Rosalind at Fleet Services, Cheshire Police. Hi, you all right? Yes, thanks. Are you able to come out and estimate a car for us, please? This isn't the worst vehicle we've had. We had a car that left here and then it crashed on the way to its station. So I think it had done something like 17 miles. And then that was crashed and that was written off. But I think that's the record to beat, I think.
John's calling in an accident investigator to see exactly what's happened and a damage assessor to see if he's going to wave goodbye to a second vehicle in one day.
Good morning, how are you?
John's team can't handle all the changes he wants for his new Riot van, so he's farmed out the work to Babcock Vehicle Engineering, who had all the bells and whistles.
These vans are amongst the most mistreated vehicles on our fleets. They're a proper piece of kit to do a very serious job.
Do you want to look at this one?
Yeah, OK.
Go to the front and work our way around.
John, I'm pleased to report this is a van.
Yeah, do you know something? It's not very finished, Richard, I have to say to you. I was expecting some seats.
We've gone for the sort of the stealth look.
Right, OK, then is this the bargain basement version? It's a bit of a balance when you come round to the input of the design of the vehicles. What headaches were in the old vehicles that we want designing out? What do we want to design in terms of creature comfort and operational effectiveness? And let's face it, can we afford it? You look at it at first and you think to yourself, God, how are we going to fill this, really, wouldn't you? Because it's a cavernous van, but I think it won't look so spacious once we get the kit in it.
While he's busy trading in his old model for a new one, he wants to make changes, starting with the trademark windscreen cage.
Obviously, this is what we want to come away from. It's a complex system, and what we found is if there's a lack of maintenance where the vehicle's sat out in the rain, getting all the weather, etc., sometimes you're not going to guarantee that that's going to release when you actually pull that handle in. They're not good to drive with them down, to be honest with you. They're really poor for visibility.
Making the van safe without the cage and still keeping it riot-proof is really going to be a challenge.
I've just noticed something on a vehicle in your yard.
Uh-oh, what's he spotted now?
Have you had one of our drivers driving this van? Is this your van? Is this one of yours?
Fortunately, it's not, John.
This rear step should look like this.
I was just thinking, we've got one of our drivers that's been moonlighting, working for you and driving this van.
Hot calling kettle, John.
I've got no mirrors. I think we're going to have the airbag bumpers sort of like designed for us, because nothing else seems to work.
Dream on, John. That's the exterior planned out. Now on to his interior design.
What were our options lighting-wise?
Do you need red lighting for night time?
Yeah, is there a way of us having red or white?
We can do that over each seat for you, not a problem at all.
Red lighting was actually brought in by the bomber pilots in the Second World War. They were using red lighting inside the cockpits, so actually they couldn't only just see within the cockpit but see outside as well.
Anything he can add to help his officers do their jobs better, John wants.
They work on tablets nowadays to get onto the systems, don't they?
Do you want USBs at the seats as well?
Yeah, please. They want to charge them through those USB ports. That's really, really helpful.
Yeah. So if we get the specification changed, drawing sent back across to you, you can sign them off.
Yeah, and let's get it moving.
Cool. Fantastic.
Wonderful. That was easy, wasn't it?
Every customer's as easy, yeah?
Oh, well, there you go. We're known for being easy.
Speak for yourself.
Thank you very much.
He doesn't sound demanding, but he's being sarcastic. This is actually a pretty big deal, and the team at Babcock have their work cut out. The Vehicle Maintenance Unit at Cheshire Police Headquarters has to look after a fleet of almost 1,000 frontline vehicles. All of them contain a secret weapon. The Inca box is like a plane's black box, providing invaluable information on the car and driver's actions.
It shows whether it had blue lights on, red lights, siren in use and all the rest of it. Position, driver behaviour and what the vehicle was doing at any one specific time, basically.
Forensic accident collision investigator Pete Rahanis examines up to 60 Inca boxes a year. It's his first port of call as he investigates the crashed beat car in the yard.
We've downloaded the data from the black box that is in the Peugeot. That's told us that the vehicle had its blue lights and its sirens activated, and it also tells us the speed that the vehicle was travelling.
The damage to this car suggests a horror crash, but the Inca box reveals the officer wasn't at fault.
This is a very slow-speed collision, probably somewhere in the region of walking pace, not much faster. The police cars approach the traffic lights, crawling forward, and then another vehicle has come through its lights here, and the collision has happened at that point. If everybody saw everything, collisions would never happen.
John's riot van is progressing at the specialist converters, where they've started stripping out the van ready for its new components to go inside.
Take the bumper and the grille off. Seat base, take the handbrake off. Watch out, buddy. These have got to come off. That, glove box.
They seem pretty good at taking things out, but are they any good at putting in everything that John wanted? He's back for another checkup to make sure.
If they go really, really far into the completion of the vehicle and something isn't right, they'd have to undo things or take things apart. So it's really important that we make sure that all of the boxes are ticked at the right time.
But John's still very preoccupied with one thing.
Oh, look at that lovely step there as well, Phil. It's lovely. It's all in the original shape as well.
At this point, a policeman is not driving.
That'll come.
One of the more recent modifications is the installation of a new modular flooring system. This allows John to configure the van with everything he needs, from seating to the prisoner cell and equipment storage.
That's it. Okay.
Next up, the windscreen. The front cage is gone, but without it, the new windscreen has to be able to take a severe beating all on its own.
So this is Kazi windscreen, and as you can see, if you see, it's made of plastic.
Plastic? Next you'll be telling me it's lighter and stronger.
Original windscreen is about 30 kilograms, and this is slightly lighter than that. And it lasts the length of the vehicle, so 10 plus years. Quite a clever piece of stuff, really. So, okay.
And while they're at it, they're going to chuck in a couple of windows in the back.
So what they've done is they cut the holes out the side of the van. You've got to be brave and know what you're doing for doing that, of course. To put the polycarbonate screens in.
It's a hard-faced plastic, almost like glass, but also impact-wise, almost impossible to get through it.
The transformation is going full pelt now, but John's still not happy.
As the glass has gone in, you can see it's starting to change.
Yeah, it is. Starting to change. There's bits hanging out everywhere, Phil. In the right state of undress, isn't it?
Oh, give him a chance, John. They've not finished yet. Next, the stab-proof sides.
So good evidence of the puncture-proof sides, really, with this polycarb. It's really, really tough. It's resilient stuff, that, isn't it?
And finally, the last line of defence, the chute bolts, which can provide vital extra seconds in an emergency.
So what was that, about 25, 30 seconds?
For now, John's original design can't be bettered.
In a public order scenario, where the vehicle may well be attacked, we need to make sure that the occupants are safe. You wouldn't want to be inside it when that does have to go into place, would you?
Not at all.
I'd rather hope that we've got maybe a week maximum now of the build. So, you know, I'll be on the phone almost daily to Phil and just saying, where are we, pal? Are we any hitches or hold-ups? Because I want it shorter than a week rather than longer than a week, and we'll just have to keep that pressure on.
They're bound to love that, John. Back at the workshop, the future of the Peugeot still hangs in the balance as the damage estimator starts his full assessment.
Can't really recognise it from the amount of damage that's on it at the moment. I think it's a Peugeot 308.
Correct. If his quote comes in over its value, this car won't see the road again.
That will come up.
But first, he's got to get into it. It's always best to leave these things to the professionals.
The bonnet stays disappeared.
Now he's in, let's see what needs replacing.
Both the wings, bonnet, set of hinges and the locks. Front bumper and grille, both the headlights, all the radiators.
Anything else?
It'll need 2 chassis legs.
Right.
Lamp support panels, which are on the end of the chassis legs.
Is that all?
Front panel, which is plastic, that'll all want replacing. It looks like it needs an engine mount this side, fuse box and the wiring harness.
But other than that, it's okay, yeah? Bit of WD-40 should do the job?
Radiator fan cowl, the aircon. All that's completely obliterated. Everything at the front you can see smashed to bits.
Oh.
It always seems to be the new ones that come off worst, but I suppose that's just life, isn't it?
Well, that's very philosophical, Dave.
What we do, an estimate and...
Yeah, I'll send it across to you.
OK.
If the car can't be saved, it's not just a hole in the fleet, it's a huge dent in the budget.
When we consider the amount of miles that we do in a year, we're going to have some offs. It still makes me grind my teeth, though.
While they wait for the quote to come in, Roz is helping out in reception. And she's discovering a whole new side to mechanic Daz.
Dave's left his brew here, I might drink it in a minute. In fact, I will drink it. Well, it's a bit hot at the moment.
Put some cold water in it.
And that's an idea. I know, good job you didn't leave your dinner here.
Upstairs, Dave's chasing the quote for the damaged beat car.
Ah, yeah, thank you very much for calling back. You OK? Yeah, you might disappear again when you know what I'm going to ask you.
Figures in hand, he's off to break the news to John.
Hiya, Dave.
You all right?
Yeah,
Great.
revolving door day again today.
Yeah.
Plenty on.
Got the estimate for the 308 from KC's.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a new, and it's a 17 plate, and it's only done 950 miles, so...
950 miles, one careful owner.
Yeah.
But not us.
No.
Right, so what are we looking at here, back page?
Yeah, brace yourself.
Oh, God, yeah.
The quote has come in at 11.5 grand for a car which costs Cheshire less than that to buy.
That's dead now, Dave.
Yep. That's it.
Right. First reason being that the actual bottom line repair cost is outside of where it should be for a vehicle of that value. But look at the amount of hours that they're putting on for jig and chassis straightening there. We would never repair. Well, it's got to be safe for it to go back out.
John spent £4,000 converting it for frontline police duties, and he's equipped it with 2 grand's worth of kit. But safety comes before cost.
We'll decommission it, take the kit off and crush it and
organise its burial.
Back into... that didn't last long, did it? 950 miles?
No.
An awful lot of work has gone into this car to build it and put it on the road in the first place. But do you know something? The cops don't go out and intentionally smash these cars up. This happens as a result of what our business is, and we just take it on the chin.
After the break, John finally takes delivery of his brand spanking new riot van. But will it survive its first tour of duty? It's a big day at Cheshire Police's Vehicle Maintenance Unit, as John's brand new riot van is finally ready. He started off looking like this, a fresh-faced young buck. But where there was once a boy, there now stands a man van. State-of-the-art front lighting means this van can see and be seen like never before. The front-mounted shield has been dispensed with and replaced by a shatterproof German-engineered windscreen. A forward-facing camera captures everything. Big Brother is most definitely watching. With stab-proof sides, the entire interior is protected. Powerful exterior lighting means nothing in the van's perimeter goes unnoticed. Fixed shelving provides storage for tons of protective shields and armour. And all in full view of any criminals housed in the detention cell. Axe-proof passenger windows can withstand the onslaught of an army of hostiles. Home to 9 riot cops and not a donut in sight. The interior is jam-packed with tech, including full night vision lighting and charging ports for all their kit. And with a battering ram in hand, there's nowhere to hide. There you have it, the exhaustively designed 21st century riot van. The long arm of the law just got a massive, great big new riot van. Finally, after 12 months in the planning and build, the riot van is about to see some action.
Pete, I can hear the door going.
Hi, John.
Good morning, how are you?
All right, thanks. Come to get our van.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what then. We'll sort you out then. Come through.
Brill.
Oh, you've brought half the force with you. So you can take this beauty. Notice they look quite a bit different to the older vans. Firstly, there's no pull-down cage on them.
Oh, yeah?
Right. Just let you have a bit of a look round it for you. Take it away.
So when you've got someone in the cell, does that then fire through the picture through to the screen or anything like that? Or is that just coverage?
It just records anyway.
Sergeant Sharmi Williams is about to take this brand new state-of-the-art riot van out on its first mission, policing a local phenomenon known as Mischief Night.
The night before Halloween, we have a lot of antisocial behaviour, fireworks, eggs and flour. We've had vehicles turned over, officers having things thrown at them. So it's kind of up there, antisocial behaviour that we're dealing with.
The new van should be able to deal with all of that, even the eggs and flour.
I was thinking of coming with you, actually, and just standing in front of the van saying, you know, keep away from the van. OK. This is like giving you a wallet away and hoping that when you get it back, it's got the same amount of money in it.
As Sergeant Sharmi takes the van back to her officers in Runcorn in the north of the county, there's a moment to reflect on the hard work it's taken to get it ready.
When I'm out there and I see the police vehicles, it's quite
rewarding, really, because I know that what I do is helping police Cheshire.
A lot of work's gone into that van. If it comes back in the same shape as it went out, all will be good.
Seems a bit unlikely, though, doesn't it?
Just make sure you have got your body armour on. You might have some items thrown at you, also don't be acting in isolation. Everyone be careful. Let's get going.
Mischief Night is driven by teenagers armed with fireworks and, sometimes, knives. And the new van has a leading role among the fleet of John's vehicles being prepared to tackle it head-on.
I think the equipment cages are really good, quite secure. We've got a really good camera system for the cells, which means that we can easily and effectively monitor prisoners, certainly for being violent. They're firing out all kinds of stuff, spit, blood, combination of the two.
Almost every vehicle John has in his armoury is on the road tonight, including plain-clothed officers on pedal bikes.
So it's just gone 5. We are all out and about in the van, got a van full.
Just minutes into its shift, the van gets its first mission.
We're just going to do a little pit stop to go and get some morale boosters from Asda. Some sweets to keep us going, and then we'll head out to our area.
Morale boosters are available at all good supermarkets. Emergency supplies on board, the officers discover the van's height offers improved vision.
Yes.
Can you nip over the lid on the car park? Just because I swear I saw a pram, and I would hate for there to be a child in that pram.
A pram?
Yeah.
Appears to be parked fine. And empty.
No babies.
Empty save for a leaf.
Baby leaf?
Yeah, there's a baby leaf in it. Baby leaf.
Only moments later, the van takes its first hit.
Fireworks off the bridge.
Look at that. What's that? There they are. Keep going inside, don't let them in the back. Right. Come on in. Just get a safe distance away, side.
Victor November 1-2. Had a load of youth throwing fireworks at the van, then hit the van.
Just been approaching the Busway Bridge, whereupon a group of lads have aimed several fireworks at the van.
Got a nice little scorch mark, but that's all I can see.
The van has survived its first attack, but this is going to be a long night.
We went to try and find them, but they've done the usual and dispersed, so we haven't got anyone for that, but luckily there's no serious damage to the van or anything, so John will be happy.
I'm not sure he will. The firework-chucking teenagers got away with it this time, but elsewhere, officers who swapped 4 wheels for 2 have caught some offenders red-handed.
He's had some fireworks on him, so Ed's gone to stop him, and he's gone to run, and then he's had a couple of fireworks up his top.
Because the offenders are largely teenagers, Cheshire employ both dispersal orders to ban them from the immediate area and also call in the worst punishment possible: the parents.
Is he taken to the hub?
Yeah, his parents are going to be called.
So will you just make sure when you get to the hub he is given a dispersal, because he's not been given one yet?
Seconds later,
Grade 1, get in.
the van gets its first blue light run.
Thorn Road, please. So, the job on Thorn Road, some kids are attacking a property.
Try not to chuck everyone around.
It's all right.
All over the area, officers are trying to shut down the roaming gangs of teenagers, causing havoc for local residents. And Sergeant Sharmy turns the van into a mobile operations centre.
We've done a drive down Thorn Road and around the surrounding area and not seen anybody. We've got 2 officers at the address having a chat to the victim, and there's a little alleyway here that runs down the back of Thorn Road, so we've got 2 officers just doing a walk-through down here. There's other patrols in the area as well.
Killed you at 1-2?
A few streets away, 2 officers are helping to close down the net.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the others are, but we've made off towards Lee's side now. Just be ready for an egg. One of the cars has been bricked.
What, whose?
Don't know. It's come over the radio that one of our police cars has been bricked and had the wing mirrors kicked off.
Not sure if it's Runcorn or Widnes, I only heard the tail end of it, but shows the kind of sword that we get tonight.
Yeah, we're just on our way to another incident where a knife's been thrown at the police vehicle.
They're in here somewhere on this footpath, 3 of them.
The game of cat and mouse is starting to end, and the teenagers are the losers.
What have you got dispersal?
Dispersal free, yeah? Oh, you need to go now.
There's 4 of them with him now. Straight down. It's all right, we'll head down.
They've either gone Brackendale or they've gone back to Boston Avenue.
We would have stopped you if happened one of your group was just bit our van.
So here's the rest of more of our crew.
Can't let go because you've been legging it. I'm up woman, I've got handcuffs on.
Making the most of the new van's lights and charging points, officers have turned it into a mobile office where they can quickly and safely process teenage suspects.
You've been identified as part of a group of people chucking fireworks at police officers. And it's as simple as that. I've got nothing else to say. Now listen, you're not going to be charged with any criminal offence or caution or anything like that. You've been given a dispersal notice, which we have the power to do to get people out of the area if we believe they are or likely to contribute to antisocial behaviour in that area. You're being taken to the community centre, your parents are going to come collect you, you're going to go home, and that's the end of it. Do you understand? Yeah?
Around midnight, Sergeant Sharmy calls an end to the operation.
You can inform patrols to be stood down and return to Runcorn Police Station. They're not to go off duty yet, need to await debrief. This van was really helpful and kind of...
it scared the livings out of them.
Across Runcorn and Widnes, police responded to 77 incidents of antisocial behaviour, fires and vandalism. And despite having fireworks lobbed at it, the van survived, nearly unscathed. But not every vehicle came out of battle so well.
Someone's been on the bonnet, stood on the bonnet. They've kicked the door in. Look at that there. There's more than £1,000 in this, mate. Because if we were going to repair this to top level, it needs a bonnet. It needs a front wing. So that's both door mirrors. Door's out of shape, that's a door skin, that's a door skin. What do you reckon, how much?
£3,000.
Yeah, it's got to be on it.
But there's worse news. A new riot van's already been returned with damage, and this one wasn't even out on mischief night. As far as John's concerned, it's not just the public who are accountable.
Someone's put it off the road saying that the oil level was too low on it. It wasn't. They've over-topped up the engine. We've had to drain some out. And, of course, they didn't even mention the damage on the vehicle, and we've noticed it coming in. That's why we're all continually so busy in here.
Accidents happen, but some stuff is avoidable.
And we've also got the obligatory footprint on the dash. It's quite common, we get boot prints on the dash and also the air vents kicked out as well. So, unfortunately, you can't buy these as a unit, so you have to buy large parts of the dashboard, which is quite expensive. And that's user abuse. Nothing to do with our customers that we're picking up in these vehicles.
It's a brand new vehicle. It's cost us a fortune to put on the road. And if people just took a bit more care, they would remain in nice condition for a bit longer.
We don't have courtesy cars. You know, we don't have an endless supply of marked cars, so it's 2 less vehicles on the road.
We go to great lengths to make these vehicles exactly what the cops need to do their job. To bring it in with some damage is disappointing. To bring it in with unreported damage is even worse. This vehicle will be visiting the body shop before it actually comes into the garage for its first service. That's not good news.
That footprint should wipe off, though. But true to form, John is determined to keep all the vehicles on the road. It's just another day in the vehicle maintenance unit.
Our job is putting them right again and standing our soldiers back up if they get knocked down. Thanks, anyone?